you want to get interactive, please make sure that you log on to our Facebook page. We also have a platform on WhatsApp through the number 0560 for you to, as always, give us your messages. And I want to say very good morning to you, Robert Coleman. You're the PR manager for Zoom Lion Ghana Limited. I hope that you enjoy your day.
And my trash has not been picked up for 3 weeks. That's a good reminder.
It hasn't.
I'm going to be on Zoom Lion this morning.
When I get to the office, I'll tell him.
No, it shouldn't be always because I know somebody.
You haven't
dressed
well.
How about the many people who don't know anybody who works with Zoom Lion, for instance?
Cross your leg well.
Amazing. We signed a contract for them to pick up the trash once a week.
On the front page of the Daily Guide, it's about how Mama V has not dressed well. It's a typical dress that's not supposed to be. You look at her dress.
Really?
This one is there, cross, red, on where? Is there. There's a Catholic church in Pedu, Central Regional Capital, Cape Coast. And apparently the leadership of the church says, these are the terms by which you need to come to church if you're a lady. You dress well, mayafi, or you dress...
no, they haven't said that.
Or you wear mate.
They haven't said that.
Mate is a long one.
They haven't said that.
That one, no shape. Your shape will not show. You are free.
They haven't said that. Shame on you.
And then your neck is also well up. So you won't show your cleavage and all that. I think that's even more appropriate. And they have shown this is how you have to dress. All these ones, all the ladies in Cape Coast.
No. The one in the middle is green. That's a mark. That's correct.
Okay,
Shame on you.
This one too is okay.
Shame on you.
But this one is too provocative. This one too provocative. And the story...
What's your interest in this story?
No, it's fascinating. I don't know why this day and age somebody will... they have the president of the Church Council, Andrew Kofi Woseso, telling the Daily Graphic that the ban was necessary as some of the dresses exposed parts of those who were in them, and particularly ladies. I don't know whether if I was a gentleman, I wore shorts and my torso and everything was there, it wouldn't attract ladies. You know, sometimes. Anyway, he said some female church members like Mama V exposed their breasts and I think that was the word was panties, I won't say it, through the dresses they wore to church, an act which Christianity frowned upon. According to him, dresses that exposed vital parts of women tempted some weaker members and even some of the priests. When we stop them from putting them on to church, they will even stop wearing them to public places at a point in time, Mr. Woseso said. Well, the other stories we have on the front page are new projects to create more jobs. The Business Process Outsourcing Center expected to generate many jobs, it says. Don't meddle in partisan politics, Asantehene cautions chiefs. And the back page, Dubiasi Shokotoko in Kumasi. And this one, the caretaker coach who was the assistant to David Duncan said he didn't understand how come they lost. He lost. Hearts win in Obuasi. All right. So those are the stories we have on the front back page of the Daily Graphic.
Let me do the Finder now. There's a gory picture, just so you know, on the front page of the Finder. But danger in sight. Thermal plants shut down. Hydro dams being overdrafted. Comes with a picture of Dr. Ishmael Aka, who is head of research unit with ASEP. Government sells 1.123 billion Ghana cedis 3-year domestic bond at 24.5% yield. And less than 200,000 Ghana cedis in Woyome's 7 accounts. Also, lawyer suspended 2 years for impersonating Deputy Interior Minister. That's a lawyer, James Duka. A bit more on that story. Also, Pastor Elder shot at Atebubu. That's the gory photograph that comes with this headline on the front page of the Finder newspaper. Let's get into it and do a bit of Woyome has less than 200,000 in 7 of his accounts. How true is this? But the story says that 7 bank accounts of embattled businessman Alfred Agbeshi Woyome in 2 banks hold less than 200,000 Ghana cedis. This clearly means that the order by the Supreme Court that all the monies in the account should be used to defray the 51.2 million Ghana cedis judgment debts by Mr. Woyome owes the state cannot make any difference. So they give you the banks, the name of the banks, the particular banks where he has accounts and the exact amounts left in those accounts. I don't know, is this legal?
Woyome?
Yeah, Woyome. 7 of the banks. There's UT.
How much does he have?
And the UT
he
bank?
has less than 200,000
in 7 of his bank accounts. Yeah. Okay, let's see. This story about this lawyer who's been impersonating a deputy minister. That's very brave. It says the General Legal Counsel has suspended lawyer James Abiaduka, a private legal practitioner, for 2 years for falsely representing to his clients that he was James Agalga, Deputy Interior Minister. A statement signed by Justice Alex B. Pokwe-Champong, Judicial Secretary and Secretary to General Legal Counsel, and posted on the website of the Judicial Service, said the suspension took effect from April 7, 2016. According to the statement, James Abiaduka was formally charged under Rule 9, Clause 7 of the Legal Profession, Professional Conduct and Etiquette Rules 1969, LI 613, for falsely representing to his clients that he was James Agalga when he knew that the said statement was patently false. But should this be the punishment, you know? Okay, so I guess this is from the legal counsel. He's been suspended
indefinitely?
No, for 2 years. Okay. So for 2 years, I mean, he doesn't have a license to practice as a lawyer. But I guess can we bring a criminal charge against him as well? Because that's a deputy interior minister he's impersonating. Yeah. But
if the gentleman who is impersonated wants to take some action against him, he is the only one who can take. I think.
Well, coincidentally, I think they share the same first names, James. Yeah. But it doesn't make him Agalga when he's not Agalga.
Yeah. But the clients also don't know Agalga.
Well,
I think he's a deputy minister. Everybody knows.
And then he's a lawyer too. So
yeah.
So it makes it a bit confusing, I'm sure, for people who are dealing with them.
Right.
But that's it for the Finder newspaper.
It's really a fascinating story. I'm wondering.
It is.
Why would I?
I mean, who can I say I am?
Why would I want to be, let's say, maybe Samson Ladi or somebody else?
I mean, he has power, right? He has power. I mean, if you say...
Yeah, taking advantage of his clients.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Making himself credible in whatever situation when he's not so credible, I guess.
Well, there's this very fascinating story. I'll do the Daily Dispatch and then the Daily Guide, Mama V. And the Daily Dispatch apparently has started its serialization of what we need to do as preview or learn prior to the election. And it says 2016, towards 2016 election, regionalism will be key. And the story is on page 2 and 12 of the paper, pages 2 and 12. And then they also have an interesting pullout, an advertiser's pullout. Election 2016, know your electoral areas. And they start with Ablekuma. This is awesome. Better than all the politics and things we have. I think this is very educative. Ablekuma West, for example, is there featured for today on page 6. Page 7, we have Nadoli West, occupied by the majority leader, Albert Bagbin. And then we have Bunkanta Manso.
That was in our AM News, where he donated some motorbikes.
Two motorbikes. Yeah. And that's Lion, what's his name?
Ni Lai
Afute Agbo. Lion. And when you go to center spread, you get to have a lot more information about the constituency. Yeah. The various got Ablekuma West, Nadoli West, and then you go to the
this is
the
for
next
keeps.
page. Yes. I think this is good. This is kudos
and Roland is taking his time to review that because that's his uncle.
Yes, kudos to you, Beneficent.
This is a family affair. You should pay for this. You should pay for this particular review.
Yes, you see, we have front page of the Daily Guide. Minister sprays cash. You've watched the video?
I have. I didn't think this was a big deal, honestly.
No, you know, in the community I lived in, Anashaiman, it's never a big deal because we lived with the Zongos, etc. And it's never a big deal. We go to what we call Awure, for example. That's when they do their marital rights, or maybe a musician is launching his album, or an event. Maybe somebody has learned a trade. And in look up and we say Oponeho. And then you have you want to give 500 Ghana or something. They encourage you not to give the cash physically. You go and change it into smaller denominations, and then you
kind of like shower.
Yeah, you shower. Okay. It's something that is
so
done.
Let's put a story in proper
in Islam or in Arabian countries and things. So it's very much. It's called bouquet.
Yeah. Bouquet. Okay, so this in its proper perspective. Roland is saying what he's saying is because we've got the Alhaji Yunus Hussaini on the front page of the Daily Guide. And there's a video making rounds of him, you know, like
doing
just
that,
dishing out money to
spraying
somebody.
the money on a musician.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the conversation that we're having right now. That I personally
that's
like a tradition.
Yes.
You know.
I personally thought that was.
But apparently it's such a big deal for others, so he's making front page headline.
Well, freedom of expression. Robbers kill pastors, and then we have a government sued over voter-flooded land compensation. But let me read the story about the robbers killing the pastors.
Yeah, that's also on the Finder.
Oh, it's on the Finder too.
Yeah.
It talks about the district pastor of the Apostolic Church in KGG in the Sene East District of the Bunafu region, Pastor Saki Baden, and an elder of his church, Stephen Amba, yesterday gunned down by suspected armed robbers between Asanteboa and DBB on the Kumasi-Atebu Highway. Very unfortunate incident.
All right, the Times newspaper. 2 pastors default Wasi candidate. I'll tell you how. Bad government is worse than drugs, according to Annan. But I want to believe that this is Kofi Annan. I'll confirm that on page 12 of the paper. Trader arrested for burning granddaughter. Trucks of smuggled textiles seized, and government creating more jobs. These are the front page headlines. Back page, Adubiasi Stan Kotoko. Hearts worsen Ashgold's plight. Yahya on target again as a Diana breaking Mediama. These are the sports headlines. But let's get on to page 4. Ghanaian Times newspaper talks about the 2 pastors. Can I say alleged pastors? Okay, so where's the story now? Hey, Times again. The church must lead war against immorality. That's an editorial. Ministries initiate more job creation. So there's no story on page 4 then. I mean, it says 2 pastors defraud Wasi candidates. Go to page 4. Charlie, this is becoming too
much of the Ghanaian Times.
Too much. I mean, there was a day there was the headline was on the front page and it was nowhere to be found in the paper. But this time, page 4. But it turns out the story is actually on page 3. It says that 2 fraudsters have been apprehended by the police in Accra for inducing some students writing the West African Senior School Certificate Examination to part with sums of money. The police say they will prosecute the 2 men, Wilfred Danso, who is 30, who described himself as is it a blogger?
Blogger.
Or blogger?
Should be blogger.
Because they've got blogger in the paper. And Edem Fiadono, who is 31, a consultant on the charge of extortion. The 2 who posed as itinerant preachers. Roland, is that it?
Itinerant.
Pretended to pray for the students to make high grades during the examination and asked them to seal their prayers by sowing seeds. They managed to defraud some candidates from the Laboni Senior High School and Presbyterian Boys Secondary School at Legon some 3,200 Ghana cedis. So the PRO of the Accra Region Police Command, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Efia Tenge, confirmed the story to the Ghanaian Times that the suspect entered the schools without the knowledge of the authorities. You can continue to read, but shame on them. You pray for them and then you ask these young people to sow seeds and then they'll get high grades. Okay, there was another story I thought I would share a bit. Okay, that's on page 12, but still on page 3, it says that a trader has been sentenced to 4 years imprisonment by an Accra Circuit Court for burning the right arm and 2 legs of her 9-year-old granddaughter with a heated kitchen knife. Faustina Nate was found guilty of causing harm to the granddaughter, and the court, presided over by Mrs. Abinopong Ajendoku, ordered that the victim should continue to be in the custody of the Children Relief Center. If further ordered, the director of the Department of Social Welfare to appoint as it further ordered the director of the Department of Social Welfare to appoint a social welfare officer to visit the center regularly and submit a report to the court to ascertain whether or not the victim should continue to stay there. But if you continue to read the story, it will tell you how this even came about in the first place. The last one, page 12, hopefully I see the story. Yes, it's there. It says that drugs have destroyed many lives, but wrong government policies have destroyed many more, former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan has said. We know that recently there was something that he said that, we should talk about debates on whether to legalize. But this one says bad government is worse than drugs. Okay, so legalize it, Roland.
We have on the front page of the BNFT, the Business and Financial Times, talks about Ghana taking correct pain, okay? And then Evans Boamensa scoops prestigious award. Evans Boamensa, I work with him very often. He is a reporter with the Business and Financial Times. Congratulations, Evans. The award ceremony was held in Seychelles. Mama V has been there a couple of times for some holiday. You're going to see again? I was wrong. Takrady Ports, Oil and Gas Services agenda picks up steam. But the story I want us to, and the Commander Sugar Factory seeks sugar cane from farmers. Okay, so they need the raw materials. But on page 20, this is an interesting article. Does an analysis about the various institutions we have in our country, sectorially, banking, telecom, mining, construction, oil, marketing companies, and then looks at the gender of the CEOs. And apparently, for example, it says Bank of Africa, UBA, etc., etc. And you look at the percentage of female CEOs vis-a-vis the males, it's very, very interesting. Very interesting. Some of them zero. Those in top executive management, almost very negligible if you compare men to women. Very much dominated by the men, even though we know that the women have a lot more competence to also handle some of these top positions. I've worked with some women bosses and they are marvelous. Yeah. They're marvelous.
Maybe the other question should be, in this particular sector, do we have a lot of women who are properly qualified to take up positions such as, it's required?
I think we do. Yeah? It's just that I think it's still a very male chauvinist world in which we think that it's only the men who can do many of the things, which I don't think is true, though. If we give enough support, we all can do so much.
All right, we have to make way for Benedict, who's got sports right here on the AM show. So do stay with us. When we come back, we're doing something on malaria. Keep your comments and your questions coming through on malaria. And then we will tell Jemima's story again, except that this time, well, smiling whilst telling the story.